What's up, everybody? It is now 3:30 Eastern Time on the 24th, which means that it's yesterday. If you're watching this, I recorded it the day before. And you're probably guessing, like, I woke up to all the crazy news that a lot of people woke up to regarding the invasion and the war in Ukraine. We don't want to take it lightly. It is a war that's going on right now, and people are being killed. I woke up in shock. I have a YouTube channel, and I'm the YouTube channel's grown because of my experience in the military. So I feel like because of my experience in the military, I have to talk about subjects like this, and I think that's important. I think I can maybe give some good perspectives and maybe give some predictions on what's going to happen, and more importantly, some hopes of what don't happen, right? So, we've got all the cool stuff coming up, like Halo and stuff like that, but we do have to talk about these events as well, right? I can't not talk about them. Halo can wait. We can play Halo all we want in the coming weeks, but this has to be talked about because waking up and seeing the footage, seeing the pictures, reading the headlines, hearing the statements, was genuinely terrifying. I'm going to pull up this page. I've got the BBC News up. They have kind of like this live... Can I zoom in a bit here? It's like live commentary of what's going on, live updates, which, agree with the BBC or not, I don't really care what your agenda is. What I do like is that this, concurrent events being popping up all the time, which I really do like that. So let's just go over this summary. There's a summary right here on the left. I want to go over that, and then maybe we'll look at some of the pictures and stuff, and I'll give you some of my thoughts. Okay, so summary. Russian forces launch a full-scale assault on Ukraine, with its military attacking the country from the north, east, and south. That's something I want to talk about and come back to. In fact, we'll break it down as we talk about it. They've attacked from the north, east, and south. Obviously, the east is a no-brainer. We knew they were going to attack from there. The south was kind of like a place that we presumed they would come from, for obvious reasons, from 2014 and kind of invading that way. The north, though, has been in a big debate of whether they've been coming down from the north, but from the leaks and things that have been said now, it's pretty obvious that they have been coming from the north as well. So this isn't just attack straight from the east where it's the most obvious. This is a planned, very planned and strategic attack from multiple directions, and they know exactly what the plan is. Putin knows exactly what to do here. I even saw some, and I'll digress on this, but I saw some news outlets saying that there is Russian troops disguising themselves as Ukrainians going in and then causing trouble as well. So that's also kind of troubling as well if they're starting to do stuff like that. But let's carry on with the summary here. Ukraine's health minister says 57 people were killed, 160 wounded on Thursday. Which, you can't really say anything, can you? Like, it's devastating. I think when I see those numbers and when I see these footage, I saw a footage of a building blowing up and a kid crying in the background of someone's house when it was blowing up. And I'm drawn back to what Putin's statement was, and if you remember, we watched a video on why Russia and Putin do want Ukraine. That great video, he talked about this paper that Putin wrote about how Ukraine and Russia are one people, and because they're one people, they want to basically bring Ukraine back into the fold, right? Killing 57 Ukrainians and then wounding 160 of them is not how you bring them back. It's as if we know this, right? He's saying one thing and then doing another. He's saying the Ukrainians are our people. They'll welcome us with open arms. We'll be let in. It will all be good and grand and happy, and he'll be applauded for it. And instead, he's going in with force and blowing stuff up, which is dreadful. Dreadful. People in the capital, Kiev, and elsewhere are trying to flee. Some 100,000 have left so far, the UN says. 100,000. So Poland and other countries around the area are going to have to brace themselves. People were saying something about Poland not letting people in, or it was like Russian propaganda, but apparently they are letting people in, and you can guess what the influx of refugees is going to be like, because there is a lot of people in Ukraine, a lot of people. I know the country of Ukraine is about the size of Texas, but there's something like 43 million people there, or something crazy like that. So you can guarantee there's going to be a lot of refugees that's going to be piling into these countries. We saw some pictures of like in Kiev. Is Kiev or Kiev? I can't pronounce it properly. Anyway, there was like a road, and it was just chock-a-block of people trying to get out the city, which is it's terrible. And we can talk about like the connection here. They're just people, right? I've been keeping up with a video game called Elden Ring, which, you know, if you watch my videos and stuff, I'm sure you're aware of it. And I was on the Reddit page for Elden Ring, and there was a post on there, and it was literally, I hope you enjoy the game. Unfortunately, being in Ukraine, I'm not going to be able to play it. And that hit me because, you know, you see all these pictures, and you kind of are disconnected from it, especially from here in the United States, and, you know, you are kind of disconnected from it. And when you hear stuff like that, it brings a connection to them people. They're just people like us. They have the same interests as us. They want to chill. They want to play games. They want to go out. They want to barbecue. They want to have fun with their friends. They want to do whatever they want to do. All the hobbies they have, all these things. They want to sit with the family, have a meal around the table. But instead, things are getting blown up. And it's sad. I shed a tear this morning for the people. I really did. It's genuinely hurtful. It's hurtful. Let's carry on with the summary. We'll talk about that in a minute. There are also renewed reports of explosions in port city of Mariupol, home to 500,000 people. Oh my God, 500,000 people. Putin wants to unite these two countries, and instead, there's reports of explosions in that city. Like, come on. That's not how you unite people. These are just people. Leave them alone. Just because one person's ambition to take a city is killing people. Killing people like me and you watching this on YouTube. We're just chilling. But because one person's greedy, he wants to take it back, he decides to kill a bunch of people. It shouldn't be allowed. Russians seized control of the Chernobyl complex, site of the world's worst nuclear disaster. I don't know much about this. The latest one here talks about it. Let's have a quick read of this, because I don't really know why. Why do they want Chernobyl in particular? The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, has called for maximum restraint to protect nuclear sites in Ukraine following the news of fighting around Chernobyl, the site of the world's worst nuclear accident. Sorry, I do have a little bit of dyslexia. The global body, which promotes the peaceful use of nuclear energy, says it is following the situation in Ukraine with grave concern. The IAEA says it has been informed by its Ukrainian counterparts that while Russian forces have taken control of the Formula nuclear facility, no casualties or destruction have been reported. Very good. It's a nuclear area. You don't want any destruction. All it takes is one stray bullet to hit something bad, and then that's it. Director General Mariano Grossi says it is of the vital importance that operations of the nuclear facility in Chernobyl exclusion zone should not be affected or disrupted in any way. Chernobyl, located north of Kiev near the Belarus border, was the site of the most devastating nuclear explosion in history in 1986, when one of its forced reactors. We already know about all this. Damage reactor, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, we know about that. Strange how they've gone, like, in that. I don't really know. Chernobyl's not back up, and, like, they haven't restored that stuff. I'm presuming it was a disaster there, so I'm not really sure the reason behind that. If someone is in Ukraine or in Russia or in Eastern Europe and kind of has an idea about why Chernobyl is a particular place that they want, please let me know in the comments down below, because that is definitely a part. I watched the Chernobyl TV show. I know a little bit about it, but I don't really know anything other than the actual disaster. So if someone can inform me about that, I would like that in the comments section down below. Let's have a look at this summary though. UK and US announced fresh new sanctions on Russia, including assets freezes on banks. Asset freezes on banks. Okay, so not long ago, we saw a conference, a chat from Biden. We had one from Boris Johnson earlier today, and they were saying about sanctions, and someone was asking about cutting off like Swift Bank, which I don't know much about as well. And they're not doing that yet. They're not putting on the hardest sanctions possible. Boris Johnson literally, quote, said, nothing is off the table, but they're not doing that yet. And if it was up to me, the hardest sanctions would be implemented. The hardest sanctions there is would be implemented right now, but they're not. And I'm wondering what they're doing there. Obviously, they're going to be holding the cards close to the chest. There's reasons behind everything. Whether you agree with Biden, whether you agree with Boris Johnson or any other of these people, politicians elected around these United Nations countries or NATO countries, whether you believe in their political kind of biases, what we can all agree on is that they are relatively smart people, and they get together and they have these discussions about what they should do. Whether we agree with them discussions or not, it doesn't really matter because they have more intel than us. So from the intel they have, I'm hoping they're making the correct decisions. Whether you have, we're not making this into politics, guys. So whether you have belief in our president or prime minister in the UK or any other elected politician, it doesn't matter at this. Well, it does matter, but it's irrelevant at this point. We've got what we've got, right? We've got who we've got, and we've got what we've got. So we have to make sure and hope that these people are making the right decisions and sanctions. They're saying they're not sending troops in. They have said, Biden did say, they're going to protect every inch of NATO country soil, which I get. They're not, Ukraine are not part of NATO. I understand that. At the same time, though, it's hard to just sit by and it's like they've got two options, right? Let Ukraine get taken over with the hopes that Russia don't get too greedy and crack on with other countries, or two, go into Ukraine and help and potentially start World War III, right? So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to not get boots on the ground, but they're trying to put in sanctions which are just as tough. Sanctions that could easily collapse their economy. You know, it might be a little bit too late, in my opinion. I think force should be shown at this point. Putin's not afraid of doing it, you know. And you know me, guys. I'm a bit of a hippie, right? I do not want people getting hurt. I don't want bloodshed. It's unnecessary for one person's greed. The fact that we've got 57 people killed already. But the fact that we have 57 people killed already on the first day means there's going to be way more people killed in the near future. So, we might have to show a little bit of force. Just my opinion. I don't want it to be so, but it might have to be so, right? So let's hope that they can figure that out, and hopefully the freezes and the sanctions do work, because we put sanctions on Russia before and it just goes over the head, right? President Vladimir Putin defends his move, saying there was no other way to defend Russia. We know why he's done this, right? He came out to NATO and he gave these ridiculous requests, right? Ridiculous requests that were obviously not going to be abided by. And therefore, he's turned around and said, you give us no option, we're going to crack on and invade. We knew this chessboard game before. We knew it was going to happen, right? We just didn't know when it was going to happen. But US President Joe Biden says Putin's aggression will cost Russia dearly. So that's the whole point of the sanctions, right? That's the hope that, you know, you're doing this thing that's obviously terrible. We're going to put an ungodly amount of sanctions on you. At the end of the day, we know that Russia are, you know, best friends with China, right? But China can't keep up their government. They can't keep their economy running. They have to have other things going on. And if we seize them assets, they're going to struggle. So that's the summary we've had right here. We can kind of have like a quick little browse. It began before dawn, an assault on Ukraine, an assault on Europe. That's a big one right there, guys. Look at that. An assault on Europe. As a European citizen, well, I guess I'm not anymore, am I? Am I? I don't know what's going on with the UK and Europe. As someone who's grown up as a European citizen, it breaks my heart. It really, really breaks my heart. I think this is just going to give like a little bit of a rundown of what's cracking on. Soon armored columns crossed into the country from Crimea in the south and Belarus from the north, moving swiftly. We didn't know that at first, Belarus from the north. I'm pretty sure that was just a rumor, but then we found out. Moving swiftly, perhaps with the intention of cutting the country in two. That's probably what's going to happen. At an airport no more than 20 miles from the center of Kiev, paratroopers arrived while it was still dark, quickly establishing a base that could be used to launch attacks on the capital. That's sheesh. Here in Kiev, which has been so calm through recent weeks of this mounting crisis, we're in shock, fear, and panic. Yeah. This is the Chernobyl part we just read. Pictures right here. These are going to be sensitive pictures, guys. If you are a little faint-hearted, if you've got, you know, kids around or whatever, just bear that in mind when you see these pictures, okay? And we could all act tough being in the military, veterans and serving or whatever, but you know, not everyone could deal with some of these pictures that are truly heartbreaking. Look at these metro system. Jeez. Man tries to calm his cat. I saw a video of a guy saying bye to his family, and darkness falls on quiet streets. Man stranded in Ukraine cuts interview short as tank approaches. Can we see this?
And then the entire day it's just been peppered with sounds. The sounds are getting much closer. I'm getting
oh great,
more terrified.
Oh come on, Wi-Fi.
There's reports of Russian tanks within the city's limits now, but yeah, it's hard to verify anything that's what's happening. Terrified. Like I said, we've been trying to leave for months, but we've been stuck here because of bureaucracy from the Ukraine government. I'm scared, witless. I'm not in any current danger that I know of, but that can change in a matter of seconds. If you can maybe hear in the background, there's some explosions, and I hear a tank, so I'm going to go inside. Yeah, so thank you. I'll need to leave now.
Oh my god. No words. The people. They're just people. It's genuinely heartbreaking. Biden says Putin has much larger ambitions. I mean, we can all kind of presume that, right? Look at World War II. You know, they take one country, you go, okay, they took one country, let's hope they stop there. No, they don't. No, they don't. They keep going. Cutting Russia off from SWIFT banking, not an option right now from Biden. Let's see, let's have a conversation in another month also to see if they're working. In another month? Thousands might be dead by then. In another month. Why would he say that? He says the move is always an option, but right now it's not the position the rest of Europe wishes to take. Russian troops on the outskirts of Kiev. So, yeah, obviously Crimea. Okay, paratroopers landing. Sheesh. Silent images capture attack on airbase near Kharkiv. We can just go through a little bit of these. Significant protests. Obviously, I've seen a bunch of videos of Russian police arresting people who are protesting, which just goes to show no one wants this. Even Russians don't want this. No one wants this. Russians elite sanctioned by the US. Good. Putin has a sinister vision for the world. I mean, that's just regular scary. I saw this earlier. This is a pretty interesting picture. That let's discuss this real quick. Let's zoom in right here. I think this is a very interesting picture right here. Okay, so we've got a lot of these countries that were part of the Soviet Union, right? A lot of them here. Belarus, we know, are working with Russia. We're hoping that they get sanctions too. I'm pretty sure they are going to get sanctions too. And we know that troops have gone through Belarus into Ukraine from the north, right? We know that. Look at how many countries here are part of NATO and have not only NATO troops, but US troops. That's a big difference there, because I know US is part of NATO, understandable, but we do know that if they start killing US troops, shit's gonna go down, right? We know that. Poland's a big one here. Poland's probably the biggest one here. Romania's got a lot of NATO troops there, but these smaller countries, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, they've got a lot of NATO troops there, a lot, and they are kind of like funneled into this position here where the majority of their borders Russia and Belarus, which are the two countries, kind of like Ukraine, where there's only a little bit, you know, connecting to NATO countries, but a good chunk of it is Belarus and Russia, and the rest is the sea, and the sea which is accessible by Russia as well. So, you know, there's a lot of worry there for them countries, in my opinion. If I had a prediction, and if Russia were going to crack on, after they took Ukraine, which I think they will take Ukraine, and I think they will carry on after that, because these sanctions I don't think are going to work as much as we'd like. I think they're going to go for Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and that's when things will start getting hairy, because there is NATO troops there. Let me just go to the top. I think there was a bit of a new story there, and then we'll go on to... Okay, what did Biden say? Here we go. The Russian invasion is happening exactly how the US officials predicted. Russian staged false flags operations that resulted in a flagrant variation of international laws. President Putin moved 175,000 troops, they're missing a zero there, and military equipment to Ukraine's borders and brought blood supplies and built field hospitals. Oh, okay. Jeez. Putin wanted to re-establish the former Soviet Union. His actions leave him as a pariah. I've got dyslexia, guys. I apologize. Pariah on the international stage. The US would defend every inch, this is what I said, of NATO territory, but no American troops will be deployed to Ukraine. Biden also announced sanctions to maximize a long-term impact on Russia. In summary, Biden said he agrees with the G7 leaders from the world's largest economies that they will collectively limit Russia's ability to do business in dollars, euros, pounds, and yen. Russia's second largest lender, VTB, is among 4 Russian banks that will be sanctioned. The US and allies will cut off more than half of Russia's high-tech imports, which will stop them from being able to modernize their military, build ships and aircrafts, and advance aerospace. Cutting Russia off from global SWIFT banking system is not being proposed right now. I say do it all. Put all the sanctions on, and if they still crack on, we should have shown force. So, I mean, we can look at this all day, guys, right? What do I take from this? You know, I'm sat here, I'm in a very privileged place to be in America right now and have the ability to defend myself, right? Obviously, I'm very worried for Europe. I'm very worried for my country of England. I don't want things to get worse where, you know, they're in trouble as well, because it's a very big possibility. We know that. Everything's possible right now. Everything's, you know what I mean? Like, nothing's off the table, right? Everything can go wrong at any point right now. So, you know, I'm hoping that things go well in England. I was speaking to Steph this morning about how, you know, we built this bus, me and Steph, and the more you see not only the United States being divided, which it is, unfortunately, and the world kind of, you know, with the environment and stuff, and things are just getting rougher in this world. Having the bus, like, if you don't know, we built a home, a mobile home. We live in a school bus. It makes me feel like that decision was a good decision. You know, things like war, things like wildfires, tsunamis, all these crazy things that are happening right now, pandemics. I just feel happy that I made the decision to be able to be mobile, so if something ever happened, we can move our home. It's very worrying, all these people leaving the home, leaving all the things behind, the possessions, and having to evacuate and become refugees. Luckily, me and Steph can keep our stuff in our bus. And you know, if you're worried like I am, I'm not the type of person to build a doomsday bunker, but I definitely think that this way of living is something that, if you're worried like I am about a lot of these things, is an option you should look at. And if you want to know more about that, let me know in the comment section down below, and I can certainly inform you. But yeah, it's just, it's kind of unbelievable, right? You know, we're just getting over a pandemic, and then all of a sudden, World War III is like on the brink, which is nuts. Like I shed a tear this morning. I woke up and I've been thinking, I thought it was going to happen last week, and I was hoping that things would die down. And I woke up and I saw it, and I instantly had a lump in my throat, because I just knew we were going to start seeing a death toll. And sure enough, we have already 57. And I'm just thinking, all them families. And then I saw the video of the dad saying bye to the kid and the mom. All these things that are just genuinely heartbreaking. And I shed a tear, because I'm just like, you know, this is a country that just wants to live their lives like us. And one person whose ambitions are bigger than what they need to be decides he wants to just take the country back. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And whether you're on Putin's side or not, you could be watching this and you could be like, I believe that Putin's doing the right thing. He shouldn't be showing force. He shouldn't be showing force. If he's turning around and saying the Ukrainians are part of Russia, he shouldn't be showing force, guys. He really shouldn't. Guess it is what it is. I'm going to end it there. Members, my list has disappeared. I don't know why it's not coming up for me. But I love you, members. I hope you're okay. If there's anyone in Ukraine right now, or any countries close to Ukraine, I hope you're okay. Stay safe, please. You'll get through this. You will. And I don't know what else to say, but make sure you hug and kiss your family goodnight every night. And make sure you're just taking care. And being careful when you go outside if things are getting rough. Okay? If you can, get out of the country. Look after your family. Look after your loved ones, okay? Other than that, I will see you in tomorrow's video. I'm hoping to get some Halo out early next week. The place we are right now, like I said, doesn't have that good signal. I was hoping to get some Halo out at the end of this week, but we've decided to stay here a little bit longer because we made some incredible friends. Which I actually met another bus person who lives in a bus who is a former US Marine. And he told me this fantastic story about how he was saved by Royal Marines in Iraq, and he never got to say thank you to them. They saved his life, so he gave me this US Marine watch. I don't know if you can see that. Great guy, unbelievable guy, and we connected almost instantly. I mean, that happens with veterans, right? You connect almost instantly. I gave him a Royal Marines pin, and we've become good friends. He's right over there in his bus. So shout out to you, my dude. You know, meeting veterans on the road has been something that's really unique because you connect very quickly. Anyway, I'm chatting on about stuff I don't need to. Members, I love you. Links down below to all my socials, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. I love you all. Goodbye.